Yeah, we've gone for our best team for this game, this test. Obviously, got good cohesion, a couple of tests in, a lot of the combinations that have played together, and good powerful bench to get us home.
With Simon Parker coming back into the mix, Is it his height there, among other things, and keeping Wallace for later when that bench is going to be so important? Or what's
That's exactly what you just said. That's exactly right. He's a big body, he's physical, and Wallace will come on. He's obviously got a great game, especially if the chance it opens up a little bit, or we still have to make our tackles and turn the ball over, or whatever the style of game is, he can add to it.
What about Anton Leonard-Brown? Obviously, he hasn't played for the All Blacks in 7 games. Experience, what thinking with bringing him in for the biggest match of the tour so far?
Look, he can cover all positions in the back line. He can 12-13, cover wing as well. He's experienced. He's trained really well. It's great.
How much are you looking for a statement performance this week?
Statement performance, we're just looking for a result. I think probably the key thing is, Kate, that you look at these games, how tight they are and the margins are in two quality teams. Both got clear DNA how they want to play, and they're tight. So discipline and keep trusting ourselves and keep playing is the key.
And how do you diffuse the POM squad?
The what squad?
The POM squad, have you heard of this?
That's catchy. If they've gone for that, wow, that's innovation, isn't it? Did you come up with it, mate? Did you? No. Is it you got Telegraph, or was it we got the POM squad? Yeah, I think, but as you know, the finishing of test matches is critical, and whoever you bring on need to make an impact.
Scott, just with Simon, did you rest him last week with this week in mind?
A bit of both. We felt we just wanted to have that combination and give the guys a chance, and Wally back to 6 and have the combination with him and Peter. We know what hard he can do. He's pretty special, but it was just the combination of those two, and yeah, he comes in fresh and keen.
Scott, Leicester's been sensational at 13 for probably a year now, and obviously was amazing when he came on against Ireland. Just what's the rationale of thinking to play him on the wing?
Did you see the second Bledisloe Cup match? Yeah, he was pretty handy on left wing, gets power, left foot kick as well, and he's playing good footy, so yeah, it's a spot.
Obviously there's a few ways you could have gone with that back line, but was that always the likely move, moving Leicester back to the wing?
With Caleb injury, obviously he's in good form. It was one that you feel for him because he just got his rhythm and his power game, aerial game, all the things that you need from a left wing, and we just felt there was a best change. And obviously Billy goes into his 8th test and he's trained there, and he came on with Quinn, and he's been ready to go. So the combination and the way we want to play is what we've gone for.
Right, so if you looked at Edinburgh came out after half time and game turned on its head. Scotland had a 20-minute period really where they had all the momentum. You looked at that and tried to understand why that happened?
Yeah, look, the momentum swings and they sort of put pressure on us, and the compounding and the ability to get our own end more cleanly was key for us. So we did that. Probably just took longer than we'd sort of planned for, and so we've done a bit of work on it this week, but we're aware of how to get the momentum back. Yeah.
Scott, the bookmakers in the Northern Hemisphere make England marginal favourites, and maybe the English public might be unfamiliar with a few of your players. I think there's only 5 survivors from the last starting 15 that came here. What would you say to the English fans coming to Twickenham expecting an English win?
Is there only 5? Really?
Starting 15 from the game 12 months ago.
12 months ago, okay. Look, I didn't get that stat. I was ready for some great game of footy. I'd always turns it on, the atmosphere, and it's a great occasion, Swing low, starts cranking, you're in a special place where rugby's loved. So I think they're going to look forward to a game that's going to be played the way it should be, the ball in hand, and there'll be a kicking battle, but that's what comes after that's the key.
Coming off Scotland, obviously you've had that experience of a passionate crowd too. Do you think for some of the younger players there is confidence that you've just had that? Like All Blacks are used to playing at Twickenham and winning there all the way back to 2012 against this team. You think you're ready for that hype of the crowd? Yeah, look, we covered off what playing at Twickenham's like, just like in Murrayfield and Soldier Field, like the occasion, how it lifts you, and there's value in playing at home.
we play majority of our games away, as we know. If it's not it's Australia, it's a 12-hour flight, so we get used to get used to travelling in that side of the game, and we embrace where we're playing. You know what do they love the game, and the history of it. It's really important. The legacy part for us in the All Blacks is we have to keep tapping in and remind ourselves what the gift that's been given to us around the legacy and our chance to add to it, and Twickenham's a part of that.
You've got a lot out of your young locks over the last couple of weeks, but how important to have your captain back for a test like this?
Yeah, he's healed well, The Barretts got some good skin. It was remarkable once you saw the cut. So it was good healing powers, and we're just pleased. He's definitely enthusiastic. We've had to pull him back a bit. It's great.
Does he train fully a week, Scott?
Yes, he has. Yeah. Yep, he's ready to go.
Crazy. Usually the atmosphere peaks right at the beginning, doesn't it, with the haka and everything. In England, over the last few times, have come up with some sort of response, and they're walking forward. Do you kind of love the theatre of that and the fact that the crowd goes wild for it? Yeah.
The haka's setting a challenge, look, and we welcome that respectfully. There's always rules of engagement around it, but they know what we're going to do, and if you haven't planned or covered off what they're going to do, you're unexpected, and that's part of it. And over the period of time, someone does something different, and you welcome it.
And just looking at how Steve Baldwin's stacked his bench with all those British and Irish Lions, is part of the game plan or the role that you guys have got to do is almost get it to the point where it's irrelevant what they do in the last 20 minutes because you're so far ahead? Is that
That's a good game plan, mate. That's far answered your own question there. That's perfectly done. Oh, look, I just know how things can swing around, and look, they're all good. They're tough. As you see, quality players that can make a difference, especially at the back end of the game, and they'll make an impact no matter what. Yeah.
Scott, it's pretty clear for England's lineup that they're going to be kicking to contest. How much have you focused on that in the week, building up to it with Roebuck and Stewart and Robertson and team?
Oh, look, we've got a great aerial game in it. Mitchell's a quality kicker, and they put it on the spot, so it's a big part of the game for them. And they also play a bit too. You've got to look at them. They can take the ball in hand, and they can. If George gets it out of his hands quickly, the game's on. So it's exciting, isn't it, when you play a team like that?
What weaknesses do you see in this England team that's been selected?
Not many. They're pretty well rounded though. Their season, you can see their strengths when they played the last two Test matches. We might talk about our opposition's strengths and where we can find opportunities, but we'll play to ours. Yeah.
Fraser, what does it mean for a New Zealander to beat England? Like England have only done it 8 times, and they're sort of desperate. And Steve Borthwick talked about the pain and suffering you have to go through to beat New Zealand. But on the flip side, what does it mean to a Kiwi to come up here and win?
It's pretty special, the occasion, the location, like I mentioned, the history about it before, and it's your turn in the jersey. You got the fern on, so each one's got its own moment, and that's what you've got to get the week right to get the performance right. So that's what we're focused on, and looking forward to it.
Damien, I saw a great clip earlier where you said last week you produced the worst goal kick of your career and then managed to compose yourself to kick an absolute banger. How do you sort of reflect on that sort of 20-minute cameo that you had?
Sort of as an impact player, your job's to come on and impact in a positive way, bring energy. Obviously, for the first part of that, we spent a lot of time on defence. We're under a lot of pressure by the Scotland team, and then just being able to be accurate in the moments you're given. And I think as a player on the bench, you sort of watch the way the game's flowing, and just knew as an impact player, come on, try and bring that spark and create something. And thankfully enough, we're able to do that as a bench as a whole.
As back-throwing on the bench, you mentioned that you watched the game. Are you having dialogue between maybe the spare half back and the outside back going, you clock that they're doing this, when we come on, we should try and exploit that? Yeah,
generally it sort of makes sense for us to sit beside the backs on the bench rather than the front rows. So we just talk a little bit of tactics and work out how the game's been played and sort of what we're seeing and how we can come on and make an impact in different areas. So as the game goes on, it's important that we watch with not only watching how well we're playing, but the areas of the game at which we can impact when we come on.
Is there another week where the impact players are going to have such an impact against England? What's the talk been in camp this week? Obviously, a lot of people would have seen what you did last week, and what's the kind of motivation for, again, having such an impact?
Yeah, I think, you try and do as best as you can as an impact player, and, I was fortunate enough to come on and have a half-decent game last weekend, but by no means that means you're just going to come out and do exactly the same this weekend. So, nothing changes around the way we prepare as a team, as bench players, and, making sure when we do come on, we add an impact, but we don't overplay and try and push things and try too hard. So that's a key thing for us as bench players is, it's so important now with the way the game's going, teams are tiring late, and the importance of you coming on and making your marks. So, we talk a lot about that as we are on the bench and making sure we add our impact where we can.
You talk about nothing changing. Obviously, it's going to be so important this week for the wider All Blacks team too, when you're coming up to such an occasion. What's it like trying to keep that focus in camp? What's the talk been when you are going to Twickenham to play England?
Yeah, it's so much history at Twickenham, and we love playing there. The atmosphere's amazing, and we've had some tight battles there with England in the past. So around our preparation, nothing changes. We know we have to prepare bone deep and making sure we go through everything we need to, and making sure we've got enough gas in the tank to go on Saturday. And we're confident with the way we're playing, but we know exactly the impact England have had in their last two tests. And for us, it's important that we start well and, again, just finish the game well where we can.
When you come off the bench and you're awarded man of the match, are you banging on Scott's door to say, right, put me in the starting 15? And how does he maybe sort of sell you that role?
Yeah, it's great to get praise and that as a player, but you soon got to remind yourself that you got to get back to ground zero, and as a person, I try and stay as grounded as possible. It's good things can happen, but things can change pretty quickly within a week. So whatever role we're given in the team, whether it's starting or a bench player, you do what's best for the team that week. Even if you're not playing, you're setting the team up to go out there and do the best they can on Saturday. So whether that's starting, obviously off the bench this weekend, I'm happy with that role, and hopefully I'm able to execute again.
Leroy, your first time playing at Twickenham, is it, for the All Blacks? Yes?
Yeah, for the All Blacks, yeah.
How is that in terms of being up there for a rugby player's dream?
Yeah, it's hugely exciting. Like Slim said, there's a lot of history there, and they're a tough side. So, looking forward to it. Can't wait to feel the atmosphere and hopefully get a good Team W.
Have you been looking to more experienced players for what it is like running out there? Obviously, there was a lot of noise last weekend too, but is there nerves about hearing the 82,000 fans a lot going for England?
Yeah, I guess nerves, excitement. The boys around me, like Damien, get around you. They tell you what's it going to be like, and just to be excited and go and express yourself. So it gives me a lot of confidence just to go out there and play.
Did you play sevens at Twickenham?
Yeah, played London Sevens. Wasn't quite as packed as I think it's going to be on Saturday, but yeah, played there a couple of times.
Any standout memories or from?
No, I think we've just a couple of finals. I think, yeah. But yeah, hugely excited.
Teams looking for that lift and discipline. Did you have a bit of a talk this week about what happened last weekend and going?
Yeah, 100%. We definitely reviewed it on Monday. But yeah, I think for me it was just one of those moments that just instincts took over and it just happened. But we definitely got to be better on the discipline side this week.
A lot's been made of England's kind of back three depth and also the back three selection this week. For you personally, how much are you relishing the kind of opportunity to basically shut up 82,000 English people?
Yeah, that's the goal at least. They got an exciting back three, but I think so do we. So we know what they can bring, their side of the game, and yeah, can't wait to get out there and play it.
I mean, the England team are absolutely desperate to take your scout because they haven't done it for a long time. Do you kind of like that you're the team to shoot at always, and that maybe it forces them to do stuff they wouldn't do usually because they're so keen to say we've beaten New Zealand?
Yeah, it's every test, every weekend, we expect the best from our opposition, and we know we're going to get that from England. We've had some great battles in the last, 2 or 3 years, and it never gets any easier playing at Twickenham. So for us as a team, we can expect from them different things around the attack. I know they're probably going to test us early, but for us, obviously we know the strengths that they have throughout their team, but it's also making sure we focus on us and how we can sort of improve on, like Bumper said, our discipline from last weekend and just little key areas of the game which we can bring into Saturday. But yeah, we're expecting a tough test as usual.
Tell us a bit about George Ford. Obviously he's starting at 10, so he may not cross paths, but maybe you will. Yeah,
obviously a classy fly half, a lot of experience there, and just this cool, calm head, I think, is obviously very, very valuable for their team. So might not cross paths with him. I'm sure Bumper will see a few high balls from him, maybe later in the game. And also you've got to look at the guy they bring off the bench, Marcus Smith. Had the pleasure of playing against him last year, and we obviously know the strengths and the skill set and excitement he brings to their team. So, George is obviously very experienced and leads the team around the field really well, but he's got a lot of threats around him as well. So it's going to be tough.
With Marcus, people often use you as a comparison to what he could become, like someone who can play 10 and 15. Can you talk about that role you have and swapping between those positions and how fun that is, or difficult, or the challenges of doing it maybe?
Yeah, there's definitely a few things that he's got in his game that I wouldn't mind too. He's obviously extremely skillful, quick. I guess when you're covering two positions, it's making sure you're prepared, and each way 10's a little bit different to 15. You've got a bit more freedom at the back. So again, whatever role it is, when you're coming off the bench, is to try and impact and just back yourself and play your game, and we know he does that. So I guess for myself, I try and emulate that as well and try and come on and make an impact where I can, whether it's at 10 or 15.
What would you like from his game?
He's got pretty good feet, younger legs, a bit quicker, but he's got a few tools in his toolbox, so he's a skillful player.
And was that personally ever a challenge just for you, moving between these different roles? And I don't know who first proposed you try it, or was it something that you found natural?
I've probably become quite used to it, like bouncing in between 10 and 15. 10, you got to control the team. 15, you get a bit more freedom. And the last few weeks, being able to come on at 15 and just really try and connect well with Bodie. I think we've played a lot of rugby together, so enjoy playing alongside him. And again, it's just nice to be in the 23 and playing. So whether that's coming off the bench, coming off the bench playing 10 or 15. I try and relish that opportunity.
But do you have to park any bit of your ego at all? I guess, like a lot of kids growing up, they want that 10 shirt, and then suddenly
No, it's like every player on the team wants to start, but as I said earlier, like regardless of the role you're given, you're there to do a job to set the team up. And I'm just fortunate enough I'm still able to play and be in that 23. We've got other guys who are hungry to play as well, so being in that role, just make the most of it and come on and have some fun.
When you first played age group New Zealand under-20s, England had a great team. Maro Itoje was in that team at the same time. I mean, did you sort of look at him back then and think this guy could go a really long way in the game? Did you expect him to make the impact that he has just from seeing him at under-20 level?
Yeah, he was obviously a great player back then. We never played them that year, but just watching from afar at the tournament, he was clearly going to have an outstanding career, which he has indeed. So, he said it. He's obviously plays a big role in the England squad, leads the team from the front, and he's obviously an exceptional player.
Leroy, obviously D-Mac touched on the aerial game, and that's a big part of England's game. Sevens players are notoriously brilliant in the air. When you hear talk of people are going to rain high balls down, are you very much like, bring it on?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it comes down to our week, right? We do a lot of work on it during the week, so it brings me confidence to be able to take them. And it's obviously the aerial game's changed a bit over the years with no blockers now, so it's become a bit more of a contest in the air, which I don't mind. I enjoy it, so looking forward to it.
Would you say that if there is one area of moving from 7s to 15s that you think has given you a slight advantage, what would it be?
Oh, I'd probably have to say just the work rate of Sevens play. It's a pretty tough game, although it's only 14 minutes. You get pretty cooked out there. So yeah, probably that fitness and work rate.
Just on that, in terms of there's going to be a lot of hunger from your opposition this week, do you guys feel like you've got the fitness to be building this week with a complete performance? Is that same level of motivation there for the All Blacks?
Yeah, 100%. The Grand Slam's still there. That was our goal at the start of this tour, so it's still alive. Got two more teams to complete it, but we're just focused on England for this week. So yeah, there's a lot of hunger in camp at the moment.
Damien, you've obviously come here a lot and played at Twickers. Can you talk us through this experience, the bus ride in, looking around, hearing 82,000 people wanting to lose? What's that like, and sort of, where does it rank?
Yeah, it's an amazing experience, but a little bit different to home in terms of the atmosphere and just the whole occasion. Like you're bussing through, all the crowds out, and the marquees outside having drinks, and you got a lot of Kiwi fans, a lot of English fans, and once you're in the stadium, just the raw emotion from the fans and the crowd. You got singing, chanting. We're very fortunate with a lot of Kiwis who have travelled over and a lot of Kiwis who are in London, so it obviously helps. But last weekend was an awesome experience at Murrayfield, and I think the occasions I've had at Twickenham, memories I'll hold forever in terms of playing in front of that crowd. So as a player, you always want to enjoy those moments, relish them, and just soak up the atmosphere when you get the opportunity.